By the end of the second day, the fleet was spread out over the east end of Lake Ontario, heading towards and away from Main Duck Island. By the second night, fatigue was a much bigger factor, for even though most crews attempted some form of alternating shifts, invariably on the faster boats, few competitors would sacrifice more than an hour of sleep at a time.
4 hours. Gary probably got 8.
Yeah, probably got 8 hours.
Over the course of 2 days, he probably got 8 hours.
Good solid 1 hour at a time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What would you do? How would you get?
I think I got an hour total over the 2 days.
During the night, 2 major storm fronts bordered on either side of the rum line of the return route. The rum line being an imaginary straight line between 2 marks of a course. It was here that Chariot, the lead boat, ran into trouble.
We were in the middle of a thunderstorm, rain pouring down and no wind, and sat there for a long time, and all our competitors pulled up behind us. We saw boats then that we hadn't seen for days.
During the storms that happened through the night, we were a very lucky boat. We ended up coming right up between the 2 storm patterns and keeping very good wind throughout, but not too much wind.
We were lucky on that portion is that the thunderstorms went sort of split and went both sides of us. We could see phenomenal lightning either side of us, but we had nothing right over us.
The only crew who actually videotaped footage during the storm were Rick Harper and Paul Milne aboard Walden, a Beneteau 42 out of Hamilton. At one point, Paul Milne's voice is almost drowned out by wind and thunder.
About 9:30 now, and this thunderstorm is finally hit, blanketed by lightning, and the boats around us now are all moving to make their own preparations, some later than others. We've got our survival suits on. Hatches are completely closed. We've checked the boat from one end to the other. We're comfortable. Right now, we put a double reef, triple reef in the main, and we have a small storm sail at the forward part of the vessel, mainly to give us stability during the storm. We're expecting the rain to get heavier, as informed by the weather office, and large hailstones. So because of that, we've battened also the lockers. We've closed up the access and companionway into the craft, and we're ready for whatever hits as we complete.
And here comes the wind, eh?
Here's the wind.
Here comes the wind.
Okay.
All right.
As Harper and Milne prepare for the oncoming storm, they leave the camera running.
Here it comes.
Ready to attack? Whoa!
Rick, why don't you just lower the camera somewhere so it's out of your... Okay.
Ready to attack?
Ready to attack.
Whoa!
The first thunderstorm ended quickly.
So the wind's died down again.
As we said, he said the first lick will go through and then the big one.
Uh-huh. This is just a preamble.
Yeah.
Then heavy rain gave notice of its impending approach.
You think that's a hail?
I don't know, it sounds awful loud, but I don't know what it is. I've
I'll
never heard
bet
anything
that's
like
hail.
that. I'll bet you it is too.
If that's hail, we put it on auto helm and go below. What do you think?
Depends how big the hail is.
Yeah.
If they're enough, they're going to hurt me. I'm heading below faster than you can.
Most of the fleet was subjected to 2 more storms that night. For the more competitive boats, the storms were another tactical element to deal with. But for many, they were experiences never to be forgotten.
Anticipating it is the worst. And you don't think about, you don't feel scared at that point in time when it's actually all around you.
And the wind blew us flat.
Yeah, we got knocked down, and then it flipped us around and jibed us. And then we set the spinnaker free, because that was the only way to get back up again, and we ended up with it flying from the top of the mast and straight out, so we had no control of it. And what we did then was we still had enough speed on. We swung dead downwind, just like it says in the textbook you're supposed to do, and the spinnaker settled on the deck. And we caught it, so we actually saved it, because I had figured it would be a call to the insurance company at home, but that's the way we were going, you know.
Very early on the 3rd morning, David Doyle and Dan Cavanaugh of Man of War believed they had finally taken the lead for good.
That's when we think we're ahead. Out of the darkness looms Macintosh. Every damn overnight we've done. So there you are again this morning. Dan knocks on the hall and he said, "Hey, there's you know who."
Man of War and Macintosh had exchanged the lead 4 times during the night, until Dick Staginga and Gary Manning aboard Macintosh past Man-O-War for the last time.
Our leader is a boat called Macintosh out of Toronto. They should be arriving at Port Credit in just a couple of minutes' time.
It took 2 days, 6 hours, and 25 minutes after leaving the Port Credit Yacht Club for Dick Staginga and Gary Manning aboard Macintosh to win line honors in the Fujinon 300. The time separating the first 3 boats after 54 hours of continuous racing was only 25 minutes. In long-distance sailing, that would be comparable to winning the 100-meter dash by less than 1/100th of a second. Dan Cavanaugh and David Doyle, aboard Man-O-War out of the Royal Canadian Yacht Club, were second across the line, 17 minutes behind Macintosh. Third across the line was Chariot, designed and built by its crew, Steve Killing and John Daniels, both from Midland. They had led for most of the race.
There were the 3 boats at the front, and then there was a big gap. But those 3 boats were pretty close together. And actually, the guys on Macintosh sailed a phenomenal race.
However, the overall winner on handicap would not be known until the speed ratings had been factored in for the official corrected times. We'll return for the official winner on handicap and the overall results of the 1991 Fujinon 300. Of the 86 boats that started this long-distance odyssey, 69 completed the over 300 nautical miles. The last boat finished in 4 days, 11 hours, and 50 minutes, or 2 days and 5 hours after Macintosh. The overall winner on handicap was Afterburn, a Dash 34 out of the host Port Credit Yacht Club, sailed by Brian Chapman and Greg Bratcue.
The hardest part was during the thunderstorms, doing all those sail changes. Like I mentioned to you earlier, Brian and I did 17 sail changes over a course of 3 hours, which is hard to do, but you got to do it because every minute counts.
So our strategy was to sail with those guys, but to always favor what was going to happen weather-wise in our favor. And so if they sailed a little bit high, we'd sail low because they'd have to sooner or later come down and we'd still be there.
The following are the official results of the top 3 boats in each of the 10 divisions and their placing in the overall fleet.